I'm not writing this to you. I'm writing this to the version of me who thought you were telling the truth. The one who believed your excuses, who accepted your explanations, who made your lies make sense because the alternative was too painful to accept. I'm going to tell you something that's going to shatter you and finally set you free. Ready? You weren't stupid for believing them. You were loyal, and they weaponized it. And here's what you don't know yet. You were 10 years old the first time someone taught you that doubting people you love makes you the bad person. And you've been silencing your intuition ever since. Stay with me, because what I'm about to show you will rewrite everything you thought you knew about why you stayed so long. It wasn't the big lies that broke you. It wasn't the obvious betrayals, or the moments when the truth finally came out. It was something so much quieter. It was every time you knew something was wrong and convinced yourself you were overreacting. Every time your gut screamed and you told it to be quiet. Every time the evidence was right in front of you and you chose to believe their version instead. You didn't just believe their lies. You helped them lie to you. You filled in the gaps, made excuses for inconsistencies, defended them to people who saw what you refused to see. And when someone tried to warn you, you protected your liar from the truth. And here's what you'll never forget. You knew, not the details, not the full picture, but you knew something was wrong. You felt it in your body, before your mind would let you see it. The texts that came at weird times, the stories that didn't quite line up, the way they got defensive when you asked simple questions, the phone that was suddenly always face down, the schedule that changed without explanation. You noticed everything, but you did something worse than ignoring it. You gaslit yourself. You told yourself you were being paranoid, insecure, got crazy, controlling. You became their accomplice in your own deception. And when the truth finally came out, the worst part wasn't that they lied. It was that you'd known all along. But the real damage wasn't what they did. The real damage was what you did to yourself to keep believing. You betrayed your intuition over and over and over. Your body said run, and you said stay. Your gut said this is wrong, and you said you're overreacting. Your friends said something's off, and you said you don't understand. You chose their lies over your own truth. And every time you did that, you taught yourself something devastating. That your instincts can't be trusted. That your feelings are invalid. That reality is whatever someone else says it is. You didn't just lose them. You lost your ability to trust yourself. And now, even when you're with someone honest, you second-guess everything. You monitor. You investigate. You look for proof. Not because you don't trust them, because you don't trust you. Close your eyes. You're 10 years old again. Can you see it? Can you feel what it felt like when someone you trusted said one thing and did another, and you were told you misunderstood? Maybe it was a parent who made promises they never kept, but told you that you remembered wrong. Maybe it was someone who hurt you, and then convinced you it didn't happen. Maybe it was a moment when you knew what you saw but were told you were making things up. You learned early that questioning people you love makes you the problem. That loyalty means accepting their version of reality even when it contradicts your own. That if you just believed hard enough, their lies would become true. So you started dismissing your instincts, became the person who gave endless chances. The one who believed every explanation, no matter how absurd. The one who chose trust over truth. You thought that made you loving it. It made you a target. And that's when the truth revealed itself. Not about them, about the wound you've been carrying since you were 10 years old. The wound that made you believe doubting someone means not loving them. The one that whispered, if I question them, I'm the bad person. If I don't believe them, I'm not loyal. Maybe if I just trust harder, they'll stop lying. You didn't create that wound. They just exploited it. So here's the truth you've been avoiding. The one that's going to hurt more than anything I've said so far. You weren't afraid of being lied to. You were afraid that trusting your instincts would mean being alone. That's why you ignored the red flags. That's why you accepted the impossible explanations. That's why you kept believing long after the evidence screamed otherwise. Because accepting the truth would have meant facing something unbearable. You'd have to leave, and leaving meant admitting you'd wasted all that time believing someone who was lying to your face. And then something broke. Not when they finally admitted the truth. Not when you found the proof you'd been avoiding. Something deeper, the belief you'd been carrying since you were 10 years old. The one that said, doubting someone you love makes you the villain. That belief. It finally died. The shift didn't happen when you caught them. Not when they confessed. Not even when you left. It happened when you asked yourself a question you'd been running from since childhood. Not how did I not see it, but why did I work so hard not to see it? When you stopped blaming yourself for being naive and started understanding what you were protecting yourself from. When you realized the person you betrayed wasn't them, it was you. You stopped believing the day you realized your intuition wasn't wrong. You were just taught to ignore it. Here's what you learned when you finally listened. You didn't believe their lies because you were stupid. You believed their lies because you were taught that love means giving people the benefit of the doubt, even when the doubt is deafening. Every red flag you ignored. You saw it, every inconsistency you explained away. You noticed it, every warning sign you dismissed. You felt it. You weren't blind. You were loyal to someone who used that loyalty as permission to lie. And the moment you stopped blaming yourself for not knowing, you realized you'd known the entire time. You don't hate them anymore. Not the way you did at first. Because the anger dissolved the moment you realized they didn't trick you. They just gave you lies, and you chose to believe them because the truth would have destroyed the life you were building. Here's what nobody tells you about being lied to. The liar doesn't make you believe. They just give you an option, and you choose the lie because the truth costs too much. It costs the relationship, the future you planned, the person you thought they were. Your belief wasn't innocence. It was self-preservation. And the moment you stop making that mean you're gullible, you realize you were just trying to survive cognitive dissonance. You're rebuilding now, not the relationship. That's gone, but your relationship with your own intuition. Someone who knows. Doubt is not disloyalty. Questions are not accusations. And you will never again silence your instincts to keep someone comfortable. You are learning to trust yourself again. You are honoring the part of you that knew all along. You are refusing to explain away red flags. You are believing people the first time they show you who they are. And if someone asks you to ignore your gut to prove your love, you walk. Not because you're cynical. Not because you can't trust anyone. Because you finally learned to trust yourself. Because you finally understand. Being lied to doesn't make you stupid. Staying after you know makes you complicit in your own betrayal. So here's the final truth. The one you'll carry forward. You weren't naive. You were just more committed to believing them than believing yourself. They didn't fool you. They just gave you a lie that was easier to accept than the truth. And now you know, you don't need someone who tells the truth. You need to be someone who listens when your intuition does. If this landed in your chest, like it was written for you, drop a blue heart in the comments. And if you're ignoring red flags right now to keep someone around, I need you to hear this one more time. You weren't naive. You were just more committed to believing them than believing yourself. Stop silencing your intuition to keep someone comfortable. You don't need someone who tells the truth. You need to be someone who listens when your intuition does. I'll see you in the next one.